Easy. Accessible. Safe. Yours. Digi Wallet. Easy, accessible, safe, yours.
This is the new era of the Mexican Caribbean. A whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
Look here, your kitchen light there and you been in the kitchen.
But I'm going back in there right now.
And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep my coffee warm for later.
Where do you know?
I'll try to think about what to eat.
You know the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool. For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, the blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History, choose Contributions, read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
My name is
Welcome back. This is our second conversation, and as we mentioned, it's all about Belize City Council prepares storm safety strategies. We are joined this morning by Melanie Dawson. She's the liaison officer representing CIMO, and joining her is Ramon Menjivar. He is the assistant city engineer representing the Belize City Council. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you for having us. Time of the year again. We
Yes,
are
it is.
experiencing extended showers.
Actually, it is.
Yes, it is. I remember
we're really getting the full blood. Actually,
Yeah, we are.
at this time now, it's the peak, so we must take that into consideration that we will be experiencing a lot of rain.
Yeah. And just yesterday, we had conversations with the National Meteorological Service. So I know that this follow-up conversation with folks from the Belize City Council, it's timely. And the people want to know what they can expect in terms of settling waters. I know it's not only an issue here in Belize City. I can tell you, commuting through Ladyville, it's also an issue there as well. Right. But when it comes to preparations for storms and water, What are we expecting in terms of what will be taking place here in the city, and what are the steps being done from the Belize City Council and CMO, of course, to combat that?
All right, so starting from the preparation phase through the CMO unit, we have been working tirelessly, and we've had plans when it comes to flooding within the city. So we know that that is one of our major targets while working and preparing for the upcoming season. And I just want to make mention that now we try not to look at storms or disasters as just flooding, you know. I want us to look at it at a multi-hazard perspective. Yeah, so I just wanted to get that out there.
Yes.
But when it comes from the preparation phase, Mr. Ramon, myself, the sanitation team, and the entire council, we have been working just to begin the hurricane season. This year, we had a cleanup campaign, a very extensive one, whereby we did an assessment of the city, and then we looked at areas, the flood-prone areas within Belize City. So the areas we know that may need more work than others. So we did a cleanup campaign, which we had like 100 of our staff out working from the morning up until, you know, the evening. But I just want to make mention through that project that we did, that was to just give a more extensive work, but the team has been working throughout the season. So maybe Mr. Ramon can explain that some more on the work that his and his team has been doing when it comes to the drains and the infrastructure part when it comes to the flooding. And then also within that, we have our flood plan for the city. So the entire council, we are prepared and we know what to do in that event.
Yeah, I love, before we go over to Mr. Ramon, I love that you pointed out when we think of storms and when we think of preparing for storms, we need to ensure that it's not just for flooding, because in this day and age, there are all types of storms that are taking place. We see hail now more regularly.
I saw that the other day at home.
And not only that, with these natural disasters, you can even have fires.
Correct.
And so it's so important that you prepare for everything possible taking place.
I mean, just to make mention, along with flooding within the city, we also are experiencing king tides.
Yes.
So, you know, the clash between the two can create, you know, a disaster within the city.
I think it's important to mention, as Sabrina said, Belize City is, I think, the City Emergency Management Organization has done a really good job at trying to prepare their citizens, but also including them in some of these particular campaigns. But before Mr. Menjivar comes in to discuss all of the work that you all have done, can we at least talk about how you all have been engaging with the citizens of Belize City and how they have also learned to perhaps be a little bit more prepared and so forth?
Yeah, so when it comes to that, I always make mention that we start from the kids, the children. So we have this program through the CMA unit that the field officer, he would go out and give presentation on disaster preparedness tips. So this would include preparedness tips for hurricanes, floods, fires, tsunami. So the kids would take that home to their parents. So we try to start at that level. We also would do presentations in different organizations. You know, they would request for us to go in and give tips, preparation tips for their businesses. We work along with NEMA as well to prepare businesses and give them plans on how they can better, you know, go through storms. And then also we have communities that we work with on the ground, and what we try to do is to engage them. We share information with them. We get the leads in these communities to share information for us. And in addition to that, with our PR department at the council, They try to share information for us as well. As you guys know, our Facebook page and our website is very much active. People look out for the information coming from us. They would ask, like, they would message our page and be like, when is this shelter listing coming out? You know, what tips do you guys have? So that is how we try to get information across to the community, and it has been working really well.
Yeah. You know, I think of the challenge that both SEMO and the Belize City Council have with managing all of these potential storms that can take place, especially when we're seeing shifts because of climate change.
Right.
It's harder to predict. And so, Mr. Menjivar, from yourself as an engineer, how do you guys go about trying to prepare yourselves for any possible shift that can take place? When we think of the king tides most recently that had us all in a frenzy, because it's one thing to have floods and another to have that along with king tides. I mean, I imagine the pressure that it put on our pumping stations. Talk about that, the way that you guys have to ensure that you're always ready for these potential shifts that can take place.
Well, we have our teams, the sanitation and the works, that we work together in preparation for any events. Starting with the infrastructure, drainage projects, we, from the inception, before the beginning of the year, we start our routine maintenance of drainage canals and mainly outfalls. About 3 years ago, we did an extensive cleaning of the line open drains, which are the major outlets that take out or receive the water from the city. And this is a very expensive project, which we use heavy equipment, and it's very key because once we keep our outlets clear, then when we have these events of flooding, then the water will recede in a time frame about 3 to 4 hours. If you notice any time of rain, you would notice that, yes, don't get me wrong, we will have water on the streets, but within 2-3 hours, the water will recede, which is a true testimony of that the drainage infrastructure is working.
I think that for citizens that have to commute on a regular basis, sometimes, of course, this becomes difficult and also dangerous if you have to walk through some of these waters. So can we get a little bit of some tips for our viewers that are looking right now, that, okay, if you are living in a flood-prone area, if you know that you're next to Pickstock Street and the king tides will affect your regular day-to-day, what can they do to, I guess, avoid and, you know, be a little bit more resilient? Anybody can answer.
Okay, yeah. Well, living in Belize City, I would say most of us know our communities. We know our community best, where you live. So if rains would come and you know your streets would get flooded, I think it's time for us to try to adapt. So with that said, I do believe that preparing yourselves, getting the resources that you need, you know, to help you out in the event maybe your streets flood, you would need to commute to work, walking, you know, get your rubber boots, get your umbrellas. Also, if you know that maybe your areas would become like extensively flood, you guys would maybe have to, you know, stay in another community or your family member just until, you know. I wanna
put something forward, perhaps, because I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. I'm trying to think what the general public is also considering. Mr. Menjivar, you shared that the drainage system has really shown how much it is working based on the time frame that we see the water receding. But is this something that is considered successful, or is there a potential plan in place to have no water be collected? Because I think that's also a concern from people. For example, persons living in areas that are flood prone, I don't think they want waters in their home, period. Is that fair to say?
From a technical standpoint, let me put it this way. The ideology is that you have a mass of land and have all this water dropping. So the land becomes like a catchment. And now, comparatively to the drainage that we have, this is where the time frames comes in as to when the water will recede. Because if you notice, everybody want to, when they build, they raise their land, right? So the street becomes lower than the property. So automatically, you will find out that the water will settle in the lower area, right? And then that in turn, the water will find the channels, which are the drainage, to recede to the lower areas, which will then become the sea. And it will take some time for the water to reach from point A to point B. So,
So you're saying it's inevitable.
It's inevitable, no.
You can't control that. And the drainage, it isn't necessarily a drainage issue. It's a how structures are placed, the height that they're placed, and the way that the water flows down into lower lying areas.
Right. And then you must remember too that we are
underwater. We're below
sea level. So that again has a great impact for the water to recede. Because then you don't have a fast runoff, so that the water, as it drops, the water runs right off into the low-lying areas.
Well, as you both mentioned earlier, we have beyond the flood, there are other disasters that do take place in the city, and of course both of your departments are in line to take care of that and prepare for that. But are there points in place, shelters, evacuation routes from the city for persons to be able to seek some sort of help? Because I understand the science behind it, I understand the work that is being done, but you have vulnerable citizens like pregnant women, elderly, with people that can't necessarily afford to move from point A to point B without getting caught in this particular event or this particular situation. So how can we help to alleviate some of the stress from those persons?
Okay, so when it comes to assisting the vulnerable population, I just want to make mention that through NEMA at the national level, they added this subcommittee, the National Special Needs Committee. So we adopted that as well as the city, because remember, we are an umbrella of NEMO. So whatever they establish, we try to do it at a local level as well. So through that committee and CMO, we try to include the vulnerable population. So we have this plan in place, which we try to assist them during times of disaster. When it comes to activating the EOC, I just want to make mention that we do have a lot on our plate. You mentioned evacuation. Belize City and our team, we do have a very robust evacuation plan. Remember, we have to take on all the evacuees through San Pedro, Key Cocker, and then we escort them out of the city, and that is done through our employees and our committee members, and also with the support of NEMO.
And let's not forget those who are resistant to doing it until the 11th hour, and then expect you to leave your safety
and go help.
So besides assisting the evacuees from the islands, we also would receive phone calls, like you mentioned, Sabrina, of people wanting to evacuate their houses last minute. So we also have our search and rescue team, which is included of the BDF, the Coast Guard, and also one of our enforcement officers. They would go out, they would assist these people through the rains up until the forfeit, the last minute, of our cutoff time, to take them to shelters. And when it comes to the shelter listing, NEMA is the one who would share that information with us, and then we share it. But we did our shelter inspection earlier this year in February, and the listing has been shared with the public, I think, late June. So that is always that is also out there.
Yeah, I think that, and just as we are wrapping up our conversation this morning, I think it's important for our citizens to understand. And the exact same thing we told Nemo yesterday. We have to do our part.
Correct.
Right? As citizens, as people, we have to be able to help. You all have families as well, and we want to get everybody out safely.
Correct.
So in terms of where they can find all of this information, and of course for persons that might not also be tech savvy and have access to the internet, how can they find this information?
Yeah, okay, so all this information we have posted on our website and the Facebook page. What our team, they try to do is to constantly repeating, posting this information so everyone could be up to date. Yeah, and then for the ones who aren't tech savvy, like I mentioned, to our committee, we have the operation officer who we try to communicate with them. We also have WhatsApp groups with community members, to try and share information through them as well, and then they try to get it within their community.
One of my final questions that I want to ask is, what responsibility does the general public have in also ensuring that their areas are clean? Because oftentimes we hear people say, that's not my job, that's city council for clean my drain. What do you say to them?
We want to encourage the general public, it's the onus on them to try to assist in cleaning. If there is a lot of debris, they can assist in removing those as well. One of the main issues we have in the city is when property owners are doing land reclaiming. They like to place their material and block the drain, which again would in turn flood a whole neighborhood just for one person being a bit distracted in that.
Responsible. Yeah.
So we want to encourage the public to be focused on that item, because it helps the city infrastructure and as in the line of the drainage.
Yeah, and also don't litter.
Right.
Well,
Something as simple as
don't litter.
yeah, because oftentimes when we are called out to do to assess an area that is flooding, you would find out that it's litter that is blocking a culvert, blocking a drainage, and the water is not going through, and then that floods an area. Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate the conversation, and we hope that you guys also take the information and put it to good use in preparation of storms in your area. All right, we take another quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Belmopan is going to be in the house, and they're going to be talking about their march for Christ as they take back the land.